If the 130 with your Gladius fleet doesn't work, why not try it with your Punisher Mark IIs? Hey everyone, Derpy here, back with another Battle Pirates video. This is a method to potentially do the raid targets with last year's fleet. Starting out here, the strategy for this thing is to use these mountains to block the harpoon turrets. That should avoid a really large percentage of the damage in these targets. So for this first one, I'm going to line up an approach from about this angle right here, and that should hopefully be good enough to block damage from this first harpoon. You do have to stop to kill this first short range thrower, which isn't actually that short range compared to you, but you should be able to avoid this damage. Just make sure you don't get hit by the second one off here on the left. It might be shooting at you a little bit. Try and move forward so you're not hit by this thing, and mountains should block everything. Additionally, you have this one on the right, and mountains should block this one as well if you are fairly close to it. If you're unsure if you're taking damage or not, I would just flick through your arrow keys on your ships to see if you're getting hit by anything. You can see I got scratched a little bit. Next up, you're going to smash yourself next to the mountain here as closely as possible. Kill this first silo here, which should explode and take out half the target, and then you kill this next harpoon at maximum range, and it should still be hitting the mountain here instead of actually hitting you. At this point, that is going down, so we're going to move across to the right side here and go towards the next turret. This is a phlogiston launcher, and this has long range, and if you attack it with a lower evade ship, it's going to build up stacks and actually do damage to you. So I'm going to take my flagship, which does have more evade, and that's really the only difference for this one. Use one ship, and if it does have high evade, it's even better. Use that as a tank and move out in front here. Mountains don't matter against this turret right here. Now, the issue with these ships in this target is the damage is pretty low compared to the Gladius fleet, so it does take longer to kill everything, but if you're not taking as much damage and you can avoid most of the damage from most of the harpoons, you're doing pretty well. Now that this one goes down, we're going to move forward to this silo target right here and shoot this one once. It will explode and take out another big chunk of the target here. You could retreat and come back in, and this harpoon here will be dead, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the target in one hit, moving the flag forward as a tank a little bit, and getting pretty close to this one here. Then we're going to go towards these next three turrets. There's no mountains around here. You can't really block any of that, but you can get inside the minimum range of the short range turret here if you do want to, or you can get inside the minimum range of the harpoon. To do that, you have to kill the short range turret, so I'm going to do that. As soon as that's done, move inside the minimum range and target the phlogiston launcher, again moving your tank ship a little bit out ahead of everything else. At this point, if you wanted to switch ships and use different ones as a tank that had taken less damage, that might be okay. Just make sure this turret doesn't have a shockwave off on you, otherwise that will hurt pretty dramatically. And for the record, I am using no crew. If you were to use one, I would put on a Dragon Slayer's crew as an uncommon crew because that increases your reload. Things like Creeping Death are also potentially helpful, maybe even a Sea Serpent's crew, to help with evade against the phlogiston launcher. Now our next turret here is the harpoon. I'm going to lead with ship number 2 as a tank here just because it is still going to be instant repair when this is dead, hopefully. And we're going to get inside the minimum range here, and that's going to be the end of the damage taken for this target. As you can see, it is a little bit of driving that you do have to do, but if your Gladius fleet isn't quite up to par, you're having trouble driving that, you're repairing, it's refitting, upgrading, whatever the problem is, you can use this fleet against this target. And I will show you the repair time as well as the build on all of this thing. Not that it is anything particularly important, but I guess you should know what is going on here. And then I will be trying this in the 132 target as well, so stay tuned for that video. But after this turret here is dead, let's go ahead and check the battle report. And if you're not seeing these shockwaves, by the way, that's because you have your effects and settings turned off. Now when we look at the battle report, we see most of the damage was actually ballistic from when the harpoons did end up hitting, and only a little bit of radioactive damage from the phlogiston launchers. Most of that did miss. 18 minutes damage, let's go ahead and into base and see what damage we took. Looks like a little bit of instant repair on a few of these different ships here, and that should be pretty good to go through. And we have 9 minutes of damage on the flagship, which is better than my Gladius fleet for this target. Here's me from the future editing the video. I realized I didn't show my build, so I'm going to do that now. The flagship is upgraded to X1, is built as a tank, having agility system 4. Guidance Grammar 3 would work here. The other ships are just built all the same, except one of them is not up to X1 yet. It's only at U3, and the build is right here. I should leave that as a hash code in the YouTube comments and or description down below, so check there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, hope it was helpful. If you give this a try, let me know what kind of damage you're taking, share this with a friend. Special thanks to the people who make this video possible. You guys see their names on the end screen now. And as always, this is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.